Hello, crypto world. Welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel, I delve deep into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, and patterns. So in this video, I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, this is something that affects crypto, so I highly recommend if you're into crypto, you watch this video. If you're not into crypto, this should affect you too because it is the Dow Jones and it is a representation of the broader market. So it's something that you want to tune into. What I am going to present is the case that we are very near a recession and possibly something even bigger, a depression. And it's going to only be data from the Dow Jones Industrial Average that I will use to make my case. So let's get started. We see this box here. This is the lead up to the C19 crash that took place on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, for some time, I've been keeping an eye on this structure here. As it's moved up, I've tried to find the best match in the Dow Jones' own history as far as fractals go to compare it to. But it's been challenging because as it was developing, there was a lot of different possible potential fractals it could be, but none of them seemed to really be a good representation of what this has been so far. As this has developed, it has become more apparent what it is following. And the other day, I took this structure right here, the lead up to the C19 crash, and I applied it to here. What I did, I had to match this structure to today's current timing, height, and depth. So if you were to just grab this structure here, say, and put it right here, well, it doesn't match. Now you have to bring it to the right size. So that's what I did. I took my time and matched it to this structure here, and this is what it looked like. So as you can see, it is a close match. We're not completely done with it. What it does tell us, it tells us that this structure should lead past this current all-time high. So the good news is that the Dow should be making a new all-time high. Now this will bode well for crypto, for any crypto bull run that is potentially in the works right now. Making a new all-time high on the Dow Jones Industrial Average is, I would say, an important factor in crypto making new all-time highs. So we see that, and that's a cool thing. However, this is where it peaks out. So after this right here comes this decline. Let's take this structure right here, copy and paste it, and bring it over here. I don't know how large this would be. That is yet to be seen. This is kind of a blurry image of this since I'm doing it on a week candle. I can go into a day one and get it a little more detailed, but nonetheless, it is a sharp, steep crash. Now, okay, that's good and all that this matches. Well, it's not good, but it's helpful that this matches to where we can have a guide of what is potentially going to take place. Now, could it do something different? Yes, it could, but I'd like to now add to this case of this structure playing out the way it shows it is potentially going to play out with a much larger, more substantial fractal. And to do that, we need to go back to the very beginning of the Dow Jones. Let me take this off, and let's leave that on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the run-up, and I'll also include the crash here. So this here is the run-up to the 1929 crash. This is the crash that kicked off the Great Depression. So it starts in 1929 and it ends like in 1932. So I am going to take this structure right here and copy and paste it onto this side of the chart. Now, from 1932 to 2023 is roughly 91 years. So this is an extremely large structure. So I have made some videos on this in the past. I've kind of haphazardly grabbed, okay, this section of the fractal, put it over here. This time around, I went into much further detail because I wanted more clarity. So what I did is I broke it up into small segments. So like here, I took this and aligned it there like that. And you can see that, hey, this actually does match. So I went through this entire structure here, placing it over here, and this is what it looks like. So this took me a while. It's like 40 some odd fractals I had to painstakingly adjust, and as you can see, it is a close match, and it's a very, I mean, it's 91 years, I believe, so it's a very, very large structure. Now here we get to the important point. So let's go into a weak candle. So as you can see, I have the fractal from the C19 run up right here, still on here, and as you can see, this structure aligns with that C19 one quite well. So they're both telling the same story. Now, this larger structure here, this is a very powerful structure because it's been in the making for 91 years. And there are some deviations. For instance, right here, the fractal dropped before it did here. This one went sideways before dropping, but there's small deviations. In the big picture, they both kind of do the same thing. They both drop. This one just happened to drop before this one. They both go up at the same time. They do the same thing at the right time. The structure is being followed, but there are deviations. But in the big picture, those are just small little deviations. And what would be needed is a massive deviation. Like one potential thing is it keeps going up, or another one would be it goes sideways for a really long time. Could that happen? Yes, it could. But the argument against that is that this structure is, the bigger these structures are, the more powerful they are. And this is the king of structures. This is over 90 years in the making. It's a very, very powerful structure. And as you can see, it's pretty darn close. So if things continue to play out as they are, we are at the cusp of what could be the decline. So if time marches on as things have been or they are now, that would put it somewhere at the end of the year, maybe beginning of the next year. Now, time is, it could speed up or slow down. So it's not very accurate just to go by this. It could change. This part of the fractal can play out much slower. It can play out much faster. Also, height and depth. When a fractal repeats, just like I'm having to adjust this structure to meet today's part of the structure, that could vary. So this move up may not go as high as this one, or it could go higher. So it could affect how high above the current all-time high the Dow Jones continues to go. Now, let's look at the crashing part. So if you take the 1929 crash, which was 89, let's go look at it. Okay, so if you take this 1929 decline, this declined. Okay, so from the peak to the trough, it was an 89.51 decline. I could be off by part of a percent on that. I think I've got the trough here. The more you zoom in, it's kind of challenging getting it just on the money, but I believe it's pretty darn close on the trough right there and the peak. And this is an 89.51% decline. Let's see what that would mean if we had an 89.51% decline on today's chart, where that would put us. So if you copy and paste it and stretch it to that same percentage, 89.51, this is how far down it would drop. It would drop down to like 4,231. I don't know if that's exact. it would drop a lot. Now, if you copy and paste this structure over here, this is on a week chart. So now I'm in a day candle, and I'm going to copy this declining structure here. And let's just say it matches the same decline. Let's make it go down to 89% roughly and see what that looks like. That would look something like this. So there, let's move this here. Let's say if it crashed, it was a steeper crash. We don't know how steep, how long this crash, or how deep it will go. But as you can see, these two crashes are almost identical. They're very close to each other. So it's the same crash going on in the C19 that took place in the 1929 crash. So what we don't know how deep this can go, how long it will take for it to crash. We also don't know the unrealized portion here, how high this could go, how long it will take for it to develop. All these things, they're unknown factors, but this is the guide so far. That's what we have from history to show us what could potentially take place. Well, folks, this is my case using the data that the Dow Jones has to offer. This is a very large scale fractal. The bigger they are, the stronger they are. And this is the king of fractals as far as is time and size. It's over 90 years in the making. It is a behemoth of a structure. Could it do something different? Yes, it could. It could potentially continue just to keep moving up, or it can go maybe sideways for years to come. Those are possibilities. But like I said, the bigger they are, the stronger they are. And this is also echoed by the smaller version, the run-up to the C19 and the C19 crash. It's echoed in the same thing. They're both saying the exact same story, which that in it of itself doesn't give us an airtight case, but it makes a very powerful case. I would like to hear what you guys think. I'd love to read your comments on this. Feel free to post your comments in the comment section. I definitely will read them. If you did find this interesting, it'd be much appreciated if you hit that thumbs up button. And by the way, if you find this type of TA that I did here interesting, you really should hit that subscribe button. There is no one on YouTube land that is doing this type of analysis, doing what I just did here. So if you find this interesting, I highly recommend you hit that subscribe button. This is not financial advice, so none of this should be used as financial advice. Well, I'm so glad you caught this video. I hope you catch my next one. Have a great day, and bye for now.